Deep drop, steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side. Caught by Diggs. Stay on. Oh my God! 30, 10, touchdown! Are you kidding me? In the Minneapolis way. Stephon Diggs in the middle of the field. That walks off on the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle. I can't believe what I just saw. What an unbelievable play.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in to Bleeding Purple, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings. My name is Tyler Haig. I am joined, as always, by Mr. Adam Patrick. Adam, can you hear me? Can you speak?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, my God. We did it perfectly. Hooray.
Hey, we're already doing better than the Vikings.
I agree completely. They not real fun to watch, Adam. Not real fun to watch.
Not on offense, at least.
No, offense was. Oof. All right, so let's start just like big overview. What was your long view? What was your take from the game? All things considered, what did you take away from the loss? Oh, by the way, the Vikings lost to the Bears. We should get that out of the way. 25-20 was the final score?
I think so, yeah. 25 or 26. They just looked unprepared. They had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and they looked like they had 2 days. There was pretty much like one major thing that everyone knows about the Bears this year that you have to do to beat them, and that's to stop Khalil Mack. And for some reason, the Vikings thought that putting one offensive lineman out there to block him was a good idea. Obviously it didn't work because I think the Vikings gave up about like 21 pressures yesterday, and that was from Mack and Akeem Hicks too. He had a good game on the inside. And then on the offensive end, they just didn't look like they knew what was going on out there. Couldn't run the ball. Dalvin Cook didn't really do a whole lot. They got production. They started throwing the Thielen in the second half. Diggs was really the only real bright spot. I don't know what Cousins was looking at on a couple of his throws where he threw picks. Stop throwing at Treadwell. Nothing has come,
Nothing
good out of
happens when you do that
this year. Chad Beebe had one catch and it was for like 20 yards. That's way more.
He didn't get any run in that offense until it was like 2-minute style and they were in the hurry up. That was when he got in. Yeah, absolutely brutal. For the offense, I tweeted this before the game, but this really quietly was a very, very important game for Kirk Cousins because it was the game that he was going to be able to I don't want to say prove, but this is why you paid all this money. This is what I'm here to do. This is my job. This is who I am. We win games like this. Mm-hmm. And he totally wilted and looked awful. And I'm not saying that all of it was Kirk Cousins' fault, but that was an opportunity for him to really look good and really take charge. And it's not all his fault, but
no, I think he was under pressure. I just looked it up, 42% of his dropbacks last night. So, I don't think there aren't really many quarterbacks who can succeed when they're seeing that much pressure on their face. Yes. So, a lot of people are going to throw the blame on Cousins, but it's hard for him to, look downfield or think that he has something downfield when he doesn't even have time to throw.
Yeah, the one sack where they could not take a sack at the end of the game, and they did. There was unblocked. He was not even at the third step of his three-step drop. Yeah.
Yeah, when Remmers was just you can go up the middle, because, letting guys up the middle is always a better idea than letting them go to the outside.
It looked like there were multiple different communication issues on the offensive line, which would make sense because they haven't played together in a while. Some of them are coming, this has been a different group almost every time they've played.
I don't know, but it's been mostly the same guys. Remmers and Elflein have been out there for the whole time, so I don't really know what their excuse is.
Yeah. Well, I'll ask you this. It was a super frustrating performance to watch because I feel like the Vikings
Because they had so many
are
chances,
better than that.
right?
Yeah, so many chances. That was a
Yeah.
totally winnable game, and at no
Defense.
point did they even really threaten. Really,
Defense gave them a bunch of chances. They made a bunch of plays, especially in the second half.
yeah,
And the Vikings came up with, 2 field goals?
it was brutal. Yeah, two field goals on possessions that you absolutely needed to score a touchdown on, and they couldn't do it either time. Very frustrating. Do you think part of it, perhaps, could be that the Bears are really, really, really good?
They're not really, really, really good. But
I mean, that defense, that front group is
they're better. They're
really
better. They're obviously more, prepared. Their coach obviously is better at using what he has, out on the field than their previous coaches.
Yeah.
I
thought you were just gonna throw Zimmer under the bus and be like, the
No,
coaches
no.
are garbage. Screw this team.
And I'm getting tired of people ripping on Zimmer for the faults of the offense, because that's not his focus. That's not what he was hired to do. His focus is on the defense. We know that. He says he tries to get involved in the offense, but everyone knows that his main focus is the defense. Should he probably get a little more involved in the offense? Yeah, because obviously, things aren't working out there. Even if you're not succeeding at running the ball. I understand you have to pass and stuff more when you're down by 2 touchdowns, but
That was there. They were
But they
not
didn't
in
even
a
run the ball
position
in the
where
third
they were.
quarter.
Yes, they were not in a position where they had to throw the ball until about 8 minutes left in that game.
Right.
Where's
And
the
they
running
didn't.
game for the first 3.5 quarters? It wasn't there.
and they weren't, the running plays that they did run. They weren't you go and look on the other side of the field, and the Bears are running jet sweeps and all these exotic runs, and the Vikings are just running the ball up the middle, and they acting like they don't have someone like Dalvin Cook or Stephon Diggs on their team, or even Adam Thielen, who can take the ball and run it for 9 or 10 yards every time.
Yeah. And we have been, I don't want to say critical, but skeptical maybe is the best word. Skeptical of everybody just assuming that DiFilippo is just going to be this, he's good to go. We're good to go.
If he wants to
he's
leave
good.
this year, that's fine. But
I mean, he has been the most underwhelming,
yeah,
because he's a hot coaching prospect. I still hear on national radio them talking about him going
especially with the Browns, especially because he used to be there.
Yeah, but that's that was going to be my point. But this guy has literally, his play calling experience is so far for the Vikings, meh at best, and then a horrible, horrible, horrible year in Cleveland. Granted, he had Johnny Manziel on his team, but that's not an impressive resume. And we were just assuming that this was all going to be great. And I think this is a huge part of the problem. There's not a lot of creativity. There's not a lot of exotic looks. There's not a lot of, God, Adam, there's not even draws or screens or
It's direction.
nothing. There's nothing keeping.
You had the Bears last night running they had Tariq Cohen on there, or Cohen, as Al Michaels likes to say.
I'm glad you noticed that too, because it was bugging me all night.
I was like, does he just make up his own pronunciations? I can't wait for next
If you're Al Michaels, because what are you gonna say? Hey man, you're saying that wrong. He's like, oh, am I? Because I called I called the Miracle on Ice, and I've called
And while we're on the Al Michaels topic, randomly
7 Super Bowls.
Him saying how Dalvin Cook had a lot of off the field issues before the draft. That's why teams didn't want to take him. And I'm like, what were these a lot of issues? Everyone knows he had some run-ins or whatever. He got in a little trouble in college, but he wasn't like Joe Mixon or anybody.
No, man. And his whole thing was he grew up in a bad neighborhood, so his buddies are from a bad neighborhood. That was the knock on him.
You know who else grew up there? Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah. He's a horrible person.
Horrible person. Can't have a franchise.
But but the Bears were running all these plays where they would roll out and then run the ball the other way, or even with Trubisky. I thought the Vikings were trying to run some of that stuff in the beginning, but obviously those are the scripted plays that they have, and then after that it's just a crapshoot, and it seems like that's been the story for most of the season, where after the first 20 plays, DiFilippo is just just throw deep.
Oh my God! Thank you for bringing it up, because it's a difficult thing to try and criticize an offensive coordinator because you don't know what their goal is. You don't know what they're adjusting to. You don't know what all they're dealing with. But you're nailing it. The scripted plays work to a certain extent. There's an adjustment period there from about, like realistically the first 2 offensive drives, 3 offensive drives, maybe 20 plays. There's an adjustment period from then until about midway through the third quarter that they just don't. They seem unable to get anything going offensively. Yep. Halftime, they kind of start to figure it out. Second half, they usually look pretty okay. But it takes them so long to figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. Why does it take you that long to figure out that Khalil Mack, that Reef needs help? Like, he needs help. You could see that 2 plays in, that you got to get somebody over there.
It's not like Riley Reef is like Orlando Pace over there. Like, he can block anybody, but I don't understand why they don't just keep Kyle Rudolph or CJ Ham over there the whole time. What do you really need Kyle Rudolph lined up as a receiver that much?
But he's a weapon, Adam. He's
so
a
you
weapon.
Can pass to him to get a 5-yard gain every time. Is it really that necessary that you need him out there? You're going to throw them off by him lining up as a receiver?
I'm throwing this out there again, Adam, and I've said it before. It's David
Morgan.
Morgan. He is the most valuable player because if David Morgan's in there, that game looks totally different.
Yeah, and he has a knee injury, so I don't know when he's going to be back.
Oh, man. But, yeah, dude, that offense is
It's so confusing because it's not like really they don't have the talent.
I mean, you'd think so, but at this point, basically,
they look lost.
Yeah. Yes. They look like they have no idea who they are or what they do as an offense.
Sometimes I feel like
we're 10 weeks into the season.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes he tries to be too generous and mix the ball around everybody just to do it when everyone's just throw to Thielen and Diggs. They're going to make plays. Just get the ball in their
making
hand.
It more difficult. Yeah.
Stop trying to throw to Treadwell when every time you do, something bad happens.
Let's focus on Kirk Cousins for a hot minute here. So what overall performance, what do you think?
It was a bad game.
I thought he played poorly. I think that's easy. When you turn the ball over, it's easy to call a performance bad.
At the same time, he did have a lot of pressure in his face. You're not going to be able to succeed like that. But yeah, it was probably his worst game of the season. At the same time, he still made some throws, that other guys in the past that have been in Vikings uniforms that they would not make. He almost nailed that throw when he was rolling out to Diggs, just missed that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a good game. I think he owned up to his interceptions after the game, so that was nice to hear for once. He didn't blame it on Treadwell or Diggs or something or Rudolph for stopping up.
I think the pick six. Here's a sidebar conspiracy theory. Treadwell was the intended receiver on that pick six.
Yeah, he was.
I think he ran the route incorrectly. I think it was either too shallow or too deep or whatever. And too shallow it would have been. So it looks like an overthrow. Threw it to nobody. Interception. Blah, blah, blah. Treadwell does not come out with the first group again until somebody subs out later on in the game.
Really?
Also noticed that was the portion of the game when BB came in. That was why BB was in because because they had pulled Treadwell out and then it was Robinson, BB, and the other two, and they were doing 2 out on each side.
Touchdown, right?
Yes. That was all happening at the same time.
Oh, Treadwell said his route was great, by the way.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
He ran a great route.
Zimmer talked to the media today at around 4 p.m. Minneapolis time, Central Standard Time, Daylight Savings. It doesn't matter. Zimmer talked to the media, and he said, when getting a question about Kirk Cousins, I'm obviously going to paraphrase here, but he was, they asked if Kirk Cousins was panicking or does he need to stay within himself? Is he blah, blah, blah? Zimmer gives a kind of long-winded answer, says eventually, and some of those aren't even his fault. Some guys aren't in the right place sometimes. Yeah. Treadwell. I think Treadwell is donezo. And I think that interception was because Treadwell ran the incorrect route. Now, I'm going to look at it again, but But I'm also thinking
Gotta
there
look
was
at
a
that
play
all
where
22.
Cousins. That's right. I'm gonna do break down the all 22. I actually got it recorded, like DVR style.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch it again. But I think there was a play later in the game after the pick six where Treadwell came back in. Cousins looked at him, saw it was Treadwell, and was like, no. And
Nope.
and went somewhere else, which is a huge step for
Good.
Treadwell not playing anymore. If that's where you fall, and I happen to land on that side of the argument.
It's it's about time.
At this point, with the offensive production that you've had,
He's been given so many chances.
yes.
Just nothing.
Are we very concerned about the offense going forward? Because we're talking about an offense that is capable, like Kirk Cousins throws.
The Bears have a good defense. Let's
Yes.
not take anything away from their performance because they have a good defense.
Yes.
And they were playing
very
at home and in Soldier Field. The Vikings never do good there.
Yes.
I think Vikings fans were hopeful that the team would be able to win and had a little more confidence given that they had 2 weeks to prepare. But at the same time, it's just Soldier Field, just never good juju, going in there.
No, it's never.
No matter how good or bad the Bears are, it's always a tough place to play, and the Vikings always seem to not do that great. So.
Mm. And you get to play them again, right? Don't we get to play them again?
Yeah, and you play them at home, and the Vikings have played well against the Bears at home. I don't remember the last time they lost to them at home.
Where are you at with Trubisky? Do you think he's any good? I mean, obviously he looked pretty good for spurts.
I think his offensive coordinator makes him look very good.
Yes.
Because he had some throws last night where you're like, oh, what are you doing, man? Like he almost gave the game. He was trying to give the game away to Xavier Rhodes. Had a pick six in his hand.
I felt bad because I got up and was like, "Oh no!" and was too loud. The kids were woke up.
That could have changed the game.
Oh, could have changed everything. That to me was my biggest takeaway from this game. Was it never ever felt like the Vikings got anything going. I mean, they looked pretty okay on defense for a stretch. There were at the end of the game when the no huddle started happening, the offense looked whatever. But mostly throughout that game, they were never really a threat. They were within 2 scores that entire game. They were up. I mean, and you have a defense that can score a touchdown, and you have a quarterback who is capable of scoring quickly. Mm-hmm. We've heard. I'm starting to wonder if that's the case, but you get my point. Is that they were 14 points away that whole time, 2 scores away, almost that whole time. That's a good sign.
The no huddle offense was better last night. They didn't take off 9 minutes off the clock or anything.
No, dude.
Quick 4-minute drive. They got out there, they ran out of bounds and stuff like that, and
there were parts of that were good. I'm going to disagree with you because Kirk Cousins, when he thinks that he can line everybody up at about the 15-10 yard line, oh my God, 15 seconds at least at him, and he did it again. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, it's horrible. It is awful clock management, and you kill. That's in a game like that.
Was it the end of the first half?
Also, they ended that game with they still had a timeout. Why? Why do you still have a timeout? How did you do that?
Was it the end of the first half when they were trying to get points? Was that Cousins' first interception? When he threw it to
that was
to Rudolph or whatever. Yeah, they were trying to get points and it didn't happen. I don't know. I think a positive to take away is that they played so poorly on offense, and they still only lost by 5 points.
Yes,
5 points on the road against the team who's in first place in NFC North. Their only losses this year have come against the Saints, Rams, Bears, and the Bills. But all their other losses are to first place teams, so it's not like they're losing to horrible teams besides the Bills.
It's true.
But they're in a tough spot. They're in a tough spot now.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next, I don't want to say question, but where are they at in this? If the playoffs started today, would they be in the playoffs? I believe so, right? Maybe, hopefully.
I think so because the Panthers lost and the Falcons lost and the Seahawks. No, the Seahawks won.
The Seahawks won, but I still think
I think they're still the 6th seed, but it's not by much. It might only be even by half a game. But yeah, they got 6 games left. They probably have to win at least 4 of those, probably 5.
Oh man! And when you say it like that, that sounds like a really, really difficult thing to pull off.
Yeah, they're the 6th seed. They're the 6th seed, and the Panthers are the 5th seed, and the Seahawks are like a half game behind, and the Cowboys.
Who else is? Oh, real quick, hey, did you see Alex Smith? What happened to him?
Yeah. What happened? I missed that. I didn't see anything about it.
I was flipping through Twitter on my phone, and it was 4 retweets of the same video of that. So I just
everyone being like, "Don't watch. Here's the video."
Exactly.
No, yeah, and I did see the Washington Post headline today that said "Broken Promise." I was like, Jesus, and a picture of him with his leg broken.
With his leg broken.
Yeah, like you couldn't not included that picture. I know you need clicks or whatever, but
it was this like 33 years to the day after Theismann's.
Yeah, and Theismann was there. I think it was like the same score. It was on the same yard.
Shut up! Are you kidding me? All of those things too.
Really,
train.
It was really eerie. Yeah, I don't know if his career is done because it was a compound fracture I read today. So it did break the skin. He broke his tibia and his fibia.
Yeah, I knew he broke both of them.
So that's going to be kind of tough. And I did see they signed Mark Sanchez today, so they should be back in the playoffs.
Season saved.
Yeah, they didn't want to go with Sam Bradford. I don't know why.
Butt fumble. So. We choose you.
So yeah, that's interesting though too, because the Redskins are probably going to be a team that the Vikings are going to be fighting for a playoff spot for now.
Yeah, dude, that NFC East is.
Yeah, I was like, why can't the Vikings be in
NFC
East? It'd be so much easier.
Cowboys look like
the best team in that division for now.
Yeah, which is shocking because if you watch the Cowboys, they don't look that awesome. They have kind of
boring.
Yeah, spurts where they look okay. Back to the Vikings. The offense was horrible. The defense kind of came around in the second half. Where do you feel about them?
Yeah, defense played very well in the second half.
Yeah.
I think they only gave up like 100 yards.
Some stupid penalties, obviously, at bad times too.
What was that? I'm fine with the Harrison Smith penalty. He's going down. You shouldn't hit him like that.
Yeah.
The Eric Wilson one, I don't think anyone knows why he got a 15-yard penalty. Like he waved his hand at the ref. Like did he tell him to go fuck himself? Excuse my language.
Yeah. They showed him like throwing, quote unquote, the towel thing,
it was
tape,
like
whatever.
Stuck to his hand, though.
Yeah, he didn't mean to throw it, and even then, that's not enough for a 15-yard penalty. And it didn't look like he was saying anything on the replay. I don't know. That was stupid. I didn't like that call at all. The Harrison Smith one, you have to know better. But I'm not going to lie, I was screaming, "Somebody destroy him!" as he was running. Because, again, he was running just... I mean, from a defensive perspective...
If you're going to get that penalty, knock him out.
Exactly. From a defensive perspective, if your best rushing attack was Mitchell Trubisky, if I'm on defense, I think we did our job.
No, yeah, they did good. They stopped. He did well in the first half, scrambling around or whatever. But I think the second half they did a good job shutting him down. They did a pretty good job in the whole second half, shutting the Bears off. I think the only touchdown the Bears got in the second half was a pick six. So, and they got a field goal.
Right.
And that's about it. So they did well. I think the first half obviously probably had to do with scripted plays, just like the Vikings. But after that, the Vikings adjusted. I think Michaels and Collinsworth, mentioned that some of the misdirection plays and stuff they weren't working in the second half, and that's credit to the Vikings for figuring that out. I don't think Anthony Barr was missed last night. Andrew Sendejo wasn't missed.
That was going to be where I was going to go with it. They had some injuries. Some guys are getting healthier. Where do you feel, where are we at with the defense, and what do you think about those guys coming back, specifically those two guys? I think Sendejo, personally, I think Sendejo is a liability. I think from a production standpoint, you could get the same thing minus the penalties. So for me...
Is he that much better than Anthony Harris, especially this year? Harris is playing really well.
I feel like he's playing really well. I would stick with Harris if it was me. What would you do? Would you stick with... because you... That's you're the wrong guy to ask about.
Sendejo, who? I think somebody tweeted last night. I don't rip on him. I don't rip on or Treadwell or Bauer.
There's definitely not any articles on the VikingAge.com about Sendejo and how they should not let him play anymore.
I mean, in the last 24 hours.
No, God, no. Definitely
not. But yeah, I don't... If they want to... I think I read today that Barr's going to play next Sunday against the Packers, or he wants to, or whatever.
Yeah, he said he was going to play.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. Diggs said that, a couple weeks ago. He's like, I'm going to play, and then he didn't play. So, but if he comes back, I think that's fine. I really don't see any reason to put Sendejo in there. I know maybe the Vikings think otherwise, but when he was in there earlier the year, that's when their defense wasn't playing that great, and Harris is doing a very nice job in there.
I've been very impressed with Harris.
I don't know if what is leading to that, like factor-wise, if Harrison Smith is helping him out a bunch or somebody else is.
Mm-hmm. Or if the scheme is changing because Sendejo's not in there. Who knows?
But yeah, I don't see any reason to replace Harris right now unless he starts screwing up, which he hasn't been. So.
Yeah, it seems like they have a good thing going on defense. It does seem, even though there was, and of course there will be throughout a season, but there have been little hiccups where they don't look super great. But then they always kind of adjust and look good. Like by the end of that game, I was totally confident in the Vikings defense getting a stop when they needed to get a stop. And they kind of did. I mean, it's messy. It was sloppy as the division game, but they got the ball back, and then Kirk Cousins threw it to the other team, and they scored a touchdown, and it was pretty much donezo after that. But
I'm kind of curious about Thanksgiving because the Lions play the Bears. The Bears are on short rest. They just played Sunday night. It's an away game. The Lions just beat the Panthers. Lions are really random this year.
I can't get. What do you say about the Lions?
So, mathematically, they're not out of the playoff hunt. I really wouldn't be surprised if the Lions won on Thursday. I mean, no. and then the Vikings are right back in the division hunt.
And then and then you're in good shape. And what do we? Because we talked for a second about it. With what are they? How many wins do they have right now? 5 wins.
5.
And you have how many games left?
6.
6 games left.
Yep.
And
so
you're gonna need 4 or 5.
They need at least 4. Yeah. Probably 5. 5. At least 5 probably wins the division.
And you're at New England. You're at Seattle.
Yeah. So you got to win. You probably got to win. You got to win one of those games.
Yeah.
And then the rest, you have to win on Sunday. You have to beat the Packers.
Yeah.
I mean,
we talked about the Chicago game being like a must-win game, but is the division like basically gone? Is that like
no? If the Bears lose on Thursday, everything's pretty much
good to go. Yeah,
square one. So, but I think the Bears have a pretty easy schedule too going forward.
They do.
So but you never know. Someone could get hurt. The Redskins thought everything was going to be fine and dandy for the rest of the year until yesterday. So, you never know.
What do you do? That's true, man. What do you think of the just the Bears? Like, what did you take away from like what they were? I wasn't super impressed with Trubisky, but holy cow, is that defense like? Wow.
That's Khalil Mack.
I mean, Mack he's a video game. He doesn't even count. He's like LeBron James. He's on like another level. You can like see him pop off the screen. Like he's insane. But I was more impressed with like the Hicks and they were so good. Oh,
and everybody,
God.
The thing that pisses me off though is just everybody knows that Khalil Mack is so dangerous. Like everybody. But for some reason, the Vikings thought that their offensive line, which isn't that good, would be fine just having one guy blocking. How?
Yeah, it's
I don't
perplexing.
understand that logic. Like how after 2 weeks to prepare, you probably watched a lot of film of this guy. How that's the conclusion you come to, where like, oh, you just one guy, that'd be good. He pushed Riley Reef on his back with one hand.
Wasn't that like the most like, oh God, like it's terrifying.
Yeah, like, and the Vikings have to see him twice a year for a while.
Oh my God, for a long while. He can't keep that up. He can't be that good forever. That'll only last 3 or 4 years. That video game stuff that he's doing right now, that can't be a long.
I don't know. He's not that old. I mean, you look at a guy like Julius Peppers, like that kind of skill.
Oh God, don't say that. Don't say that. No. We're not. I don't. No, we're not dealing with Khalil Mack for 10 years. That ain't happening. That ruins all the plans.
I mean, he'll probably end up somewhere else just because he'll become too expensive. But
he's something though, man. That was I was very impressed with him.
Worth the 2 first-round picks. That's when I was like, I would have given. Yeah, I was like, I would have given 4. Like
for real. So good.
You want more? Okay.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. The offense concerns me. I think DiFilippo is a question mark that hasn't really been brought up by a lot of people. But how can you trust a guy that has no real resume? And from what we've seen of this offense, I just am not that impressed. Like, there's nothing off balance. You know, like I say from time to time, you know, it's like whatever team can dictate what's going to happen. The Vikings offense is always being told, like they're always dealing with. They're always adjusting to what defenses are doing. They're never imposing their will on a defense, it feels like. And that's like a huge concern for a team that's supposed to go to the Super Bowl. That feels like that's a long.
I feel like a lot of it comes down to, you know, them running the ball as much as DiFilippo likes to pass. When they're successful running the ball, that's when they've been the most successful this year and in the past. So when you get 22 yards rushing, you know, it's gonna be real hard to win the game unless, you know, you're Mike Leach at Washington State.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to do when you don't have a running game, but at the same time, it doesn't look like they put much into trying to get production out of the running game, where it's just like, we'll run the ball this many times, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't.
Oh, dude, you nailed it. It feels like they're meeting a minimum. There's a minimum amount of runs that Zimmer has told him. He's like, okay, well, we got to get these out of the way real quick, and then we could just do the passing thing. And it's like, you can't win important games if Kirk Cousins throws the ball 50 times. That's never going to happen.
Especially when your team is built around defense, and you want those guys to get rest, and you want to run the clock down and stuff like that, and run play action or whatever. Like, Kirk Cousins, very good play action quarterback. Like, they didn't get to use that at all last night because they didn't run the ball. So,
yeah.
And he was pressured like as soon as he got the ball. So running play action would have just been even dumber. So,
I will say this, or let me phrase it as a question. It seemed like when he was escaping the pocket yesterday, it seemed like he was doing less stepping up in the pocket and more like peeling out. He didn't fumble the ball, is the point I'm trying to make. And if that was an adjustment that he made, would you prefer bad sacks, which he did take, versus turnovers, fumbles? Yeah, right?
Yes.
You would have to. Yes. I've heard a lot of
you can punt the ball away.
Yeah.
Pin them in, like, deep in their own territory.
Kick a field goal.
You would take because, you know, you never know, the returner could, you know, muff the punt or whatever. The offense could turn the ball over, as Trubisky tried to do many times last night.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, either take the sack or throw it away. Like, way better than the fumble. So that's a positive to take away from last night, that Kirk Cousins didn't fumble the ball.
Didn't fumble, and he was under pressure like all night.
Is that the first time he hasn't fumbled all year? I feel like it is. I mean, Dalvin Cook fumbled, but you know. That I think was a big buzzkill because they were driving. They had a good drive going, and then Dalvin Cook
they left at least, like, you could make a stretch for maybe one or two of them, but at least 14 points that were like, because he missed Diggs early where wide open would have been a touchdown. He missed somebody else later in the game. That might have been the Rudolph. That was points that they didn't get. I don't know. It's frustrating to watch because the offense seems so stagnant and they don't seem to adjust to anything. The offensive line is what it is at this point. I mean, it's not. We could complain about it. We could talk about how that's the issue, but of course it's the issue. But you have to give them help, like you said. You know, like it's David Morgan. It's a running back. There has to be.
They have to stop with the 5 offensive linemen blocking. They absolutely can't
do that with this group. Yeah. And I don't know who they're trying to prove to. It's like who are you trying to prove that they can do that? Because you can, and it's okay that they can't. Because there are ways to win games without them doing that.
You don't need 5 receivers every snap.
100%.
Be okay.
You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to hold the ball for that long. You don't have to. Yeah. No screens. No, that's like Elfline's big thing too. Is like get him on space.
I think they ran screens, but it was like I feel like it was in the fourth quarter when they were trying to come back, and Dalvin Cook caught it for a 3-yard loss.
Yeah. It feels like the way if you're not going to run the ball, you have to figure out a better way to get Dalvin Cook the ball in the passing game. Because right now it just feels like he's catching the ball and he's either his momentum's going one way and he's trying to turn up field and he's slowed down enough where they can get to him.
What was all this stuff we've heard, you can split them out wide or, run them in motion and stuff.
Where's that been?
Go anywhere, just say whatever. He's all right. Just run, shallow route or whatever, swing route.
Yeah, and maybe it's because this is a little bit of the Packers syndrome where it's not so much that John DeFilippo
You can do it, Aaron.
Is outdated, but the rest of the league is progressing so quickly and the offenses are changing and are becoming so much more creative that guys like McCarthy, guys like DeFilippo,
what DeFilippo was supposed to be.
That's what I'm saying, but he ain't that, man. He ain't that.
Young and creative guy, right? He was supposed to be the Sean McVay, Matt Nagy kind of guy.
But I ain't seeing that at all.
No, haven't seen anything like that. So Sunday night again, inside U.S. Bank Stadium though this time against the Packers.
Adam, hang on, your microphone is sounding all crazy. Okay, speak again.
Hello.
Oh no, it sounds horrible, Adam. What's going on? Oh no.
Oh, crackly?
Yeah, crackly and gross.
Oh, I can hear it. Yeah.
It's terrible. It's the worst sound ever.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there, now it's a little bit better. Okay.
Is it coming back? Coming back now?
Oh, yep. Oh, now you sound great. Okay. Anyways, back to complaining about the offensive coordinator there.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed. He's not McVay. Where's the creativity?
Yeah.
Not seeing it.
I don't know. North Turner's outsmarting him this year.
Ugh, God, that's so depressing to say. What a bummer. Ugh. But anyway, speaking of outdated, old offenses, Green Bay coming up next week. They seem to be falling apart. There is some serious disconnect happening between the players and coaching staffs. Would you? Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a long ways away, but do you think McCarthy's making it past this season? I don't think so. Even if they do make the playoffs.
I mean, I think they'd have to go to the Super Bowl probably for him to keep his job.
Yeah, no kidding.
They have 4 wins and they have 6 games left. They'd probably have to win all their games, and they still have to go on the road to Minnesota, and I think they have to go on the road to Chicago too. So I don't see that probably happening. Where they're going to be 6-0. You never know, I guess, with Aaron Rodgers. But even he hasn't looked his magical self, I guess, this year. He really has in the last couple of years.
No.
He's just kind of been given the benefit of the doubt. But I think the Vikings have a good chance on Sunday. They'll be at home. Everybody looks pretty healthy for Sunday. Yeah, right over there again.
Yeah, I'm trying to. This thing is making funny noises again. It's not terrible, but I'm just trying to make it work.
Great podcasting.
Great podcasting here.
And Mike Zimmer usually does pretty well against Aaron Rodgers. So
yes, he does.
Got that going for him. The Vikings defense is playing better. It's a game they should win.
Yes.
Could they lose? Yeah, they could lose too. So
100% they could. I completely agree. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is not Aaron Rodgers that we're used to. I don't know if that's injury related or otherwise, but it doesn't feel like he's all that interested in
his knee or whatever.
His knee thing, yeah. He just doesn't really seem that interested in like he seems mad at his teammates. He doesn't seem like he was a rah leader, and he ain't that.
He's got a lot of he's got a lot of young guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Devontae Adams is probably the most experienced receiver he has, and he's
But he was more rah when Jordy was his wide receiver. Come on.
Well,
sabotage.
Yeah, I mean, we can probably figure out why that was, but
that's a hot take. That's a hot take.
I'm sure
it feels like that relationship is about to be over, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers would probably like to have a guy like Chad Beebe on his team.
Yeah, probably.
Why don't they just give him Treadwell?
Oh, what if DiFilippo takes the Green Bay head coaching job, Adam? Then what?
Go for it. I don't know. At this rate, is it worth bringing DiFilippo back? He probably gets another year.
Is he on a 1-year deal, or what is his? Do you know what his contract situation is?
I don't know. Nobody ever knows assistants' contracts, really.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They're kind of the only things that are hidden. Even head coaches' contracts, I don't really know neither.
I just have not been impressed with him. I wouldn't keep him. If it was up to you, would you re-sign him up, or would you try and find new Sean McVay?
Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult because the whole keeping everything kind of the same with the offense and stuff. Another year in the system.
Yeah, feels like you're giving a huge question mark to the first 4 to 6
games. Yeah, because you don't want.
We'll
Yeah, you don't want. It's hard to learn a new offense for a team, and they've had to learn a new offense the past 3 years. So
yes,
some continuity is because they had Norv, and then they had Shermer, and now they have DiFilippo.
So, yeah. I forgot about Norv. You're totally right.
Because Norv left halfway through the year.
Yeah.
So
yes, yeah.
I mean, you could even say the last 4 years because Norv and Shermer together was kind of different than Norv by himself. So I think they'd probably lean more towards trying to keep things the same. I mean, they have who's the quarterback's coach that was almost the offensive coordinator?
Stefanski.
Yeah, so they could, keep him there and make him the offensive coordinator, but
give him a shot and let him go out and do his
thing. I mean, he's been there for a while, so he knows what guys, what they can do and what they're good at, so that might be something. But I don't know. I don't think anyone would be disappointed if DiFilippo left or the Vikings wanted to look elsewhere, but they'll probably keep him.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of hope that they don't, but I think you're right. I don't think they'll let him go after 1 year. Now, will he leave? Very possible. But I think if it was up to the Vikings, they would take him.
For sure, especially the Browns. I mean, he used to be with the Raiders. That job's not going to open up. I've even heard stuff about Doug Peterson possibly being on the hot seat, but
whoa.
I mean, they might not make the playoffs. They just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Man, that's bizarre. So back to the Packers. what do you foresee happening here? What is your prediction, Adam?
Well, it's probably going to be close. It's a divisional game.
Mm-hmm.
They always are. But I think it'll probably. Yeah, I think Dalvin Cook will get back on track. This Packers defense is not good, especially against the pass. So I think Thielen and Diggs will probably have a nice outing. And Sunday night, Diggs usually seems to do pretty well on Sunday night, especially at home. So I'll go like 30-21 Vikings.
30-21 Vikings.
Hope maybe Barr will get roughing the passer penalty or something.
I'm going to do 28-21 Vikings. After that offensive performance, I think you're right. I think they're going to be better than, obviously, they were last night. I think the running game is going to be better. Obviously, they're going to be focusing on that. I think it's going to be easier against the Packers. But I just cannot imagine them scoring 30 points after seeing what I saw. That's recency bias. They're very capable of doing that.
I think I saw that Mike Daniels, the Packers defensive tackle, was like their best defensive player. He's gonna miss the game. He's gonna be out for a couple of weeks, so that should be good for Dalvin Cook and for Kirk Cousins not getting pressure in his face all day. But
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see.
Who knows?
All right, Adam. This clicky thing is bugging me, and I can't take it anymore. So I'm gonna call it. But I've enjoyed our talk. This was This felt good. This was therapeutic, I think, because that was frustrating to watch.
It was frustrating. There were a lot of obscenities said in my household last night.
Yes, me too.
Luckily, a child is not here yet, so he wasn't able to hear those. But I'm sure he still had them in the womb. In his womb.
It was bad, man. I definitely woke him up once. Thought I woke them up after the pick six, but did not. Woked. That's my children are woked.
Yeah, that's right. They're lit.
The kids
lit up in there.
Yeah, it's totally lit. Hey, well, good episode. Good talking to you. Skull Vikes, let's please play better than we did last time. Please.
Please. Let's pray like Cody Parkey.
Yes.
Skull.
Oh, God. Skull Vikes. Later, bud.